Hello, I'm Claudia Kay. It's been a while. It has been a long time. So let me catch you up on what has happened. Obviously, I'm in a different location. So as many of you know, my sister was kind enough to let me stay with her and her family in their 2-bedroom apartment. And that's her husband, and her teenage son. So I was really crowding them, and she let me stay there for a little more than a year. She gave me plenty of notice that I needed to find a different living arrangement. I'm so grateful that she allowed me to stay there. It was so much fun. I had a blast while I was there. So after talking it over with other family members and friends, my parents offered to let me come stay with them in their new house. If you remember, they downsized from their big giant 5-bedroom house with the suite that I lived in that had been the former garage that had been made into this massive family room. So I really got to have like a separate bedroom, kitchenette, and living room filming space when I lived there with them. But still, a good amount of my belongings were in storage. So I moved in with my parents in 2022, the first time, and up until now, I have had a good amount of what I own in storage. So after lots of discussions with my health not getting any better at all, and if you're new here, I have fibromyalgia, chronic fatigue syndrome, hypothyroidism, and various other things that go along with it. And so I have really taken a turn in the last few years and not been able to do much. So my parents invited me to stay here, but I needed to empty the storage unit. My brother had paid for it for a little more than a year while I was living with my sister. My family's they've been supporting me since 2022. My family and my friends. I couldn't have done this the last year, maybe year and a half, without Sheila's help. Alice made it possible for me to give my daughter a birthday gift. So even though I have been trying to resell vintage since 2021, I've not actually made any money at it. I've broken even a couple times, but after the cost of buying the item, the cost of gas that it took to go and source these items, the cost of gas it takes to drive to the post office and drop them off, the cost of supplies, and even though my friends saved me boxes, you still have to have packing tape, you still have to have bubble wrap, you still have to have packing paper, you still have to have printer ink to print labels, you have to have either printer labels, or sometimes I have printed them just on paper, but you still got to buy computer paper. So the cost that goes into reselling is huge. It really is. Especially if you're selling glass, which the majority of what I've sold for the last 3 years has been glass, because I love glass. So it really has to be double packed. You have to make sure you're using, it's hard to recycle bubble wrap because it may have gotten popped in the first shipping of it, and it may not keep the glass safe. So in all the years of doing this, I've only had 3 items broken, and that's pretty amazing. And one of those, I do believe, had an internal crack that, because it was shipped out of a warm house during cold weather and then opened, I believe that's why that piece broke. Anyway, it doesn't matter. I refunded, but it's 3 items in all these years of shipping glass. I think that's pretty incredible, but I'm not making any money at it, is what I'm saying. Break even sometimes, but not making any money, and I'm definitely not paying my bills. So my family members have also been paying my car insurance and my phone bill, and pretty much it's the only bills I have right now because I have dropped everything else. Or it went into collections when I got so much sicker. So that's where I'm at right now. The reason this video is labeled I Quit is because there is not room here at my parents' for me to continue to try to resell. There just isn't space for me to take up any more room than the spare bedroom. And I had to empty the storage unit. So I have spent the last 2 months, because I moved in here May 17th. And I have spent the last 2 months going through every single thing that I own in the storage unit and in my bedroom. And I have set things up in my bedroom and then realized it was too crowded and taken them back out again. My daughter came down and got an entire truck full to take back to her place with her of stuff that she wanted and didn't want me to sell in the garage sale. Like she took my grandmother's jewelry armoire, which meant I got to use those gorgeous crystal candy dishes I had to keep jewelry in. So I've still kept a good amount of glass in my room, but I've got so much to get rid of still. So my plan is every day between now, which is the 20th, and the 31st, to drop a new sale. They are themed, so if you are not interested in, say, glass or ceramic swans, you'll want to skip the swan sale. I have one that's going to be pastel kitchen. And then on the 31st, all of the sales close. And I am having a garage sale here at my house if it doesn't rain. And then everything that's in my vintage resales from now until the 31st is going to go into the garage sale. So I'm going to run the garage sale, the 1st and the 2nd. And that's also going to contain anything that wasn't vintage, pieces of furniture that are left, any of my extra linens, like my whole life, basically. I would say at this point, I'm getting rid of at least 75% of what I own, probably more. The thing is, and my sister sat down with me and she said, you don't want to get rid of too much. Someday, mom and dad won't be here, and then you won't have any of your stuff left. At this point in my life, I physically cannot care for the things I own. I can barely care for myself. My pain levels are so high that on the days when I'm able to take a shower, I have to lie down then and rest. And sometimes that's the rest of the day. That's all I got done. I have not been able to go out sourcing. I have made it to one flea market this entire year and a few garage sales 2 different times because my dad drove me. And the first ones we stopped at was just because we were taking loads back and forth from the storage unit, and there were like 3 in a row that he let me, and just that exhausted me. And then the second time, there was a block sale up the street and up the main street, and mom wanted to go too, so dad drove us around to those. But I'm even struggling to drive myself anywhere. Like for Father's Day, I was going to hit a strip mall, and there were 3 stores I planned to go to in the strip mall, and I made it through. And when I go to a store, I go to like the place I need to look for the thing that I want, and then I'm back out again. So made it into the second store, walked down one aisle to the back and back out of there, and had to come home and rest the rest of the day. So at this point in time, I'm just not physically able to resell. I don't have the space. My parents don't have the space for everything that's involved in reselling, because it's not just storing the items that you are reselling. It's also storing the cleaning supplies that you use to clean them. It's storing all of your shipping supplies. It's storing the reference books. It's the ring light and the phone holder. So the printer to print the labels. So it's a lot. And there's just no room. So we are getting rid of it all. So almost every single thing I will be dropping in sales from now through the 31st will be from my personal collection. There are still a few items I had left from when I was still running sales I think my last sale was in February. So I do still have some of those items left. So those will be available as well. And I'm just gonna have it uploaded and ready to go. It'll drop, I don't know, like 9 in the morning, my time, Eastern Standard Time. But all of the sales will run until the 31st. I will not be invoicing until the week of the 3rd. So I'm gonna run the garage sale the 1st and the 2nd, and I will not start invoicing people until the week of the 3rd. So you'll have your invoice sometime between like the 3rd and the 8th of July. And it's just going to run like regular static sales. I have tried to keep it to about 15 items per sale, so they're not super long, and I've definitely themed them. So if it's not your thing, you can just skip that one. You don't have to watch it. I appreciate all of you so much. Several of you, Alice being the main one because she sent me 2 boxes, sent me jewelry from my daughter's jewelry jar. It was amazing, and I couldn't have done it without you. I would not have been able to fill it because I physically could not get out to source items for the jewelry jar for her. But because you guys sent me things, I was able to fill that entire jar. She was thrilled. She had a wonderful birthday this year. She turned 25. She's my millennial baby. She was born in 2000. I actually went and stayed with her cats while she and her partner went camping for her birthday. I think this is the 3rd year in a row I've done that. And I did nothing that whole week. I did nothing except feed the cats, feed myself, and scoop litter boxes. That's all I did. I rested. But she loved her jewelry jar, and she has asked me for another one for Christmas. So one of the jars that I would have put into the garage sale, I have now set aside, and I will start her a new jewelry jar. So if you missed out on sending me jewelry for her birthday, you can still send me jewelry for Christmas. You can send me an email, and I will give you my current address if you want to send jewelry. But I can already tell you, she hasn't gone through the whole thing yet, even though she got it, a couple weeks ago. But I can tell you, Alice, she already loves a few of the pieces that you sent. She's pulled them out of there and fallen in love with them. So she just works, and life is crazy right now. So she hasn't gotten to go through the whole jar, but she's thrilled with it. So thank you, all of you, for helping me make that happen for her. I love you guys. That was fantastic. I think that is everything. I am very sad that this part of my life is over, but also I haven't been able to do lives or sales for months now. So I'm pushing to get this done for you guys, and then give my mom back her basement because it's covered currently in gorgeous vintage items. One last little thing. When you have chronic illness, you grieve the loss of things so often. When you think you're done grieving, you've accepted it. Because I was diagnosed with this in 1997. So I've spent more of my life in chronic pain than I have spent without chronic pain. So you grieve the loss of things. You grieve the loss of being able to go out and go dancing on Saturday evenings. And then you grieve the loss of being able to hang out with your friends. And each time you pivot. So when you can't hang out with them and go and do things, then you invite them over. And then you get to the point where you can't have people over anymore because you can't physically clean your house, and you grieve the loss of that. And so I've been doing a lot of grieving lately because I feel like I worked for 50 years for nothing, to lose every single material possession that I have that I cannot fit into a bedroom. And so I've really deeply been grieving that. But I was reminded The time is so short. And someday my parents won't be here. And I will not be grieving that I didn't spend time with them. We get to hang out in the pool when I can pry my mom away from all of the projects she has going on. I'm trying to talk them into a game night. We get to have root beer floats in the middle of the afternoon. And someday those are memories that I am not ever going to regret making. So in this season of grief, I also have to remember that I am gaining an opportunity to get to spend these years with my parents, and that is priceless. So I am not going to be sad, or I'm going to be a little sad, but I'm going to work through it. But I'm going to bring you guys fantastic items for sale. I think at pretty good prices. There are some higher end items, but there are also $5 and $6 items. And you guys will get to see all of my fabulous kitchen items, all of my atomic items, all of my pastel, all of my vintage cookbooks that I'm not keeping. So awesome things, some beautiful glass, of course. And I have a jewelry sale. And so I'm going to end today with mystery boxes. I have 4 mystery boxes. I do not have the weights on them. They all weigh about the same. They're all about the same size. Each of them contains at least 8 items. So I have 4 boxes, and they are going to be $25 a piece. So if you are interested in a mystery box, these I will not be packaging with everything else. These will be sent out separately. So if you want one of these, I will probably bill you much sooner than next month. Unless you want me to wait and bill it all together if you think that you're gonna buy other things, but I won't send it together. This will be shipped separately. So I have 4 of these. If you would like to claim a mystery box for $25, they are letters S, letters T, letters U, and letters X. You can claim down below. And if you've never purchased from me before, I will just need you to email me at claudiakvintage@gmail.com your shipping address, your name, first and last name if it's different from your ID here on YouTube, and your PayPal email. And if you do not have a PayPal, all I need is your email, and I can you can check out as a guest. So I think that's everything. That's where I'm at. So these will be my last sales. Now I'm not gonna necessarily take the channel down. Maybe I will do some crafting or junk journaling, or maybe I'll just go live because I miss you guys. I don't know. But that's where I'm at today. That is what is happening. And after August, after I get everything out of here, the focus is going to be on trying to find some improvement in my health. We have to try something new so that I get a bit better quality of life. So that's everything. Remember, be kind. It doesn't cost you anything, and it may mean everything to someone else. Bye, guys.